Okay, so let's take a look at graphing standard form. So let's take an equation like 3x plus 2y equals 6. Now remember, in the notes off to the right, you can see if there's a negative 6 on the left side, you have to add 6 to both sides, or whichever. In the notes it says minus 6 to get to that 4. Oh, it's all the same. Just remember to do your algebra very well, adding and subtracting forms. So for example, if I took this 3x plus 2y and I said equals 6 and I minus 6 from both sides, I'm going to get 3x plus 2y minus 6 equals 0. And both of these are sort of general form, and we're going to use both of them. But I like, for example, here to add 6 and get back to be this form. So they're both general form. General form is if you have a positive x term and then in the order of then the number or equals the number. So that's going to be general form. So here we have a number then x, then a number then y, then plus or minus a number or equals a number, standard form or general form, whichever. So we want to try and find intercepts, and we're going to do that by making a table of values. I'm going to do it off to the right a bit. X, y. Excuse me, I'm not going to make it that vertical. And we're going to pick an x value of 0. And then we're going to skip a line and put a y value of 0. And we're going to do these things separately. So we're back to the left. We have the equation directly above. Notice in the notes, I've skipped a step and told you that you're finding the y-intercept. And in order to find a y-intercept, we put 0 in for x, or just put it in the table and figure that out. So let's put 0 in for x. So we have the equation directly above, 3 open bracket, 0 close bracket. Substituting with brackets, y equals 6. 3 times 0 is 0, it's gone. Divide both sides by 2, and we get y equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. Circle your answer, put it in the table, write down the point that you just figured out, put it on a graph. So let's draw a graph off to the right. We have the point 0, 3. That's a y-intercept of 0, 3. Putting 0 in for x to find a y-intercept. Now let's find the x-intercept. So now we're in the table, we have 0 for y. So we're going to rewrite the equation always. I didn't have to above because it was directly above. But now we're going to put 0 for y. So I'm going to skip a line because y is a funny rounded thing. So let's say 3x plus 2 open bracket. Now substituting 0 for y from the table. 2 times 0 is gone. So we have 3x equals 6. Divide both sides by 3. Cross it off. X equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. Circle your answer doing algebra. Then we can take that 2 value, put it in the table, write down the point that we have, 2, 0, and then put that point on the graph. 2, 0, our x-intercept. So again, above, looking for a y-intercept, we simply put 0 in for x. Looking for an x-intercept, we put 0 in for y, etc. Then we know it's a linear equation, so we can draw a line through it. So the pattern is down 3 over 2. So I'm going to go down 3 over 2, and I'm going to put another dot there, and then I'm going to put a line through it. Okay, so that's the graph that we've got off to the left. We already talked about slopes, so we know we have a rise and a run of whatever it is, and we'll be doing some more work to talk about that. So let's take the equation again. 3x plus 2y equals 6. The same equation we've been working on. Now let's turn it into a different form. Let's get it to say y equals. So let's subtract 3x from both sides and cross it off, and 2y equals, I'm going to put the x term first, negative 3x, we still have a positive 6. Now I have a coefficient of 2. I'm going to divide both sides separately all by 2. On the left-hand side, 2 over 2 is 1, cross it off. Then we have y equals negative 3 over 2x. Notice how I use my graph paper perfectly. 6 divided by 2 is 3 plus 3. Circle what y equals. We call this slope-intercept form because it's in the form y equals mx plus b, where b is the y-int, the yint, and m is the slope. So as you can clearly see, this is m in the general equation. We have negative 3 over 2, better be our slope. And look at the graph. Are we going down 3 over 2, rising and running, down 3 over 2, rising and running? Yes. And that is going to be a great connection. So if it's in standard form, reviewing from above, we're going to graph with a table of values, big box around the table of values. And forever and always, if anyone ever asks you how to graph something, you just say table of values. Physics 12, table of values. Economics third year, table of values. SpaceX astronauts, table of values. Or turn it into this tricky formula that we just figured off to the right called slope-intercept form because it has the slope and the y-intercept. The slope was negative 3 over 2. Oh, we forgot to talk about the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. All sorts of connections that we should be making. Okay, now I'm going to take what I had. Y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 3, what we just did. And this time, I'm going to clean it up a bit, shrinking this a tad. And I'm going to clean it up by taking the equation, and I have a 2 on the bottom. So I want to times both sides by 2. And I'm going to say 2 times, 2 times, 2 times. So 2 times y is 2y. Now, I timesed it by 2 only to cross off the 2 over 2. So we're left with negative 3x, and 2 times 3 is 6, positive 6. Now again, from the top, if we want to get back to general form from slope-intercept form, we have to get up top right, a positive x. So we have to add 3x to both sides. And I'm going to put the 3x first. 3x plus 2y, still negative 3x plus 3x is 0, equals positive 6. Circle my answer. Going back and forth between standard form and general form. And they have good reasons for both. Standard form, you can find the x and the y-intercepts very easily. Slope-intercept form, you can obviously find the slope and the y-intercept very easily. You have to be able to look at a graph and find both equations and go back and forth between the equations, or be given the equation and put it on the graph as we just did. So we're now going to take a big look into slope-intercept form.